Thanks for joining me on the third part of my story about the Avon Spirit STs, which I've had fitted to the Z900. Morning, gents. I've had the tyres now approximately 19 months and they've done over 7,000 miles, and certainly the back one has still got plenty of life in it. What I'll do, I will put up the statistics, or should I say the figures, of the wear on the tyres as it stands at the moment. But what I want to do now is just show you how I typically ride and probably why I get so many miles out of the tyres. I do treat the Z900 more of a tourer than sports riding. You know, typical for me, if you look down, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it clearly, you know, I typically average mid-50s to the gallon on this bike. And the speed you're seeing now, this is the route I used to commute. This is typical, go with the flow of traffic, 65, 70. So I was saying, the tyres feel planted, and to be perfectly honest, the front one, it's still good, but it doesn't inspire the same confidence it did. Now what I'll do, I will show you the tyre. It's got, some people call it shouldering, some people call it scalloping, so I'll have a look at that. And this is always a favourite corner. Just got to be mindful of the junction on our right, on our left as we approach it. So what I am going to do is we're going to head out to Lumi's. I'm going to get a cup of tea, because that also takes us along a nice bit of A road. There's probably some of you out there who are wondering why I still keep the 900 if I don't utilise the performance it's capable of. And I've always been more of an all-rounder person than something dedicated. What I'd dearly love to do, and if you're watching this, fish, is that trip to the battlefields of Verdun. And I know the 900 will get some luggage on the back of it, and it'll just take it all in its stride. Well, it looks very quiet over there. So whilst we're having this break at Lumi's, it's cuppa, we've got the never-ending question of how strong should your tea be. Now, that's kind of nearing it for me, but my mate Fish is watching. He's always got something to say about tea. I'm sorry, mate, I'll never be as manly as you. Front tyres, Spirit ST on the front. Hopefully you can see this. Nice clear. So down here we've still got plenty of tread there, but there is a distinct shoulder forming, and I'm actually trying to find a tyre wear indicator, which I'm struggling to do. I don't know if that's it up there, but anyway you can see, so that's over 7,000 on the front tyre. rear tyre. Again, that's over 7,000, and you can see up there where it is starting to square off, but I would definitely have Spirit STs again. And here down the middle, see the stripe where the harder compound is. What I don't know is these tyres were the ones made in Britain, and I have been asked if the ones in France are made in France and how are any good. Can't honestly answer that, but I'd like to think that Avon or the company associated with them would stick to a tried and tested formula. Hopefully you can see just in here there's a tyre wear bar, but it's right in there. As I said, I will put the figures up because it did go in for a vehicle health check and they measured the tyres and brake pads at the same time. Right, so what I'm going to do now is we'll put a few more miles on and I'll do a little bit more talking about the tyres, see how we go. So this pair of Avon Spirit ST I'm really impressed with. The miles I anticipate is probably going to do 8,500 to 9,000 on the rear tyre. The front one's probably going to need changing in the next one, just under 1,000. Looking at the way it's worn. They give a compliant ride, they give confidence. I use them all year round, whatever the weather, and I've got no complaints. So the way I see it, if you're after a tyre that would do everything, I can't recommend them highly enough. In all fairness, I've not tried others such as a Pirelli Angel GT, a Michelin Pros, or even the Metzelers. But given the length of time I have tyres, it's not as it, you know, it's something you change every few months. But I said in one of my earlier videos on these tyres, even in winter when it was damp and greasy, obviously you've got to stick within certain safety, be safety conscious on greasy roads, but I've had no slips or discouraging signs when riding on them. Whether I ride like yourself or a similar style, only you know that. Out the sun into the shadows. You know, that's gentle drive. Back tyre and the front stay where you put them. No hint of it fighting back or arguing with you. I think part of the problem on familiar roads is when you use them and see them all year round, it's dry on a day like today, but you also know where the debris patches can be for about 90% of the year because of all the rain we get, and it washes down into the road. And of course, out of the sun and shadows, it's not that easy to pick it up. So just riding with an air of caution. Need to get some fuel. Got a 500-mile round trip on Friday coming up. Right, I wonder if any of you guys can hear this whine. There. Now, I know it's not the chain, because that's been cleaned thoroughly a couple of times and properly greased. It tends to do it around sort of 30-ish mile an hour and between 69 and 71 mile an hour. It could be road noise from the front tyre because of the way it's worn. The bike is due a pair of new front discs because they say there's warp on one. It could be that. It's definitely not related to the engine because I pulled the clutch in, let the engine revs drop, and the pitch of the whine has stayed the same. And in fact, on a dual carriageway when it was empty, I pulled the clutch in, hit the kill switch, and the noise still persisted even without the engine running. And then when I started it and let the clutch out, yeah, everything stayed the same. The brake discs have been cleaned, Scotch Brite, pads taken out, cleaned, abraded. Now the thing is, if it is a warp, we'll soon find out when the discs are replaced. Kawasaki, in all fairness, have been pretty good. Discs are listed as a service item, so I'm not going to tell you the full ins and outs, but I'm satisfied with the goodwill gesture they gave. So thank you, Kawasaki UK. You see this typical road surface. Yeah, it's bumpy. Bike feels good. No change of direction. As I said, you can feel it tracking slightly, but that's to be expected. So let's go to the trip meter. So that's now showing 156 and the 66 on there. So that is estimating what you've seen is some of my typical riding, 220 miles to the tank. That's probably why these Avon Spirit STs have lasted me so well. Back home now. It's about 27 degrees outside, so I'm in the shade. Have another cup of tea. Hope you found it useful, and I look forward to hearing any comments or views that you may have, and thanks for watching.